Good evening, teacher. Our group is going to present the MGT case. My team is made up of Pamela Serna, Sofia Roncal, and whoever speak to you, Gianfranco Sainz. Case summary, Mjd Manufacturing was founded in 1961 by Jose J. Harris in Toronto. This company was engaged in manufacturing and automotive parts. Since that year, MGD had grown into a company for more than $27 million in revenue in 2019. Then, when COVID-19 hit the world, most companies experienced a decline in sales. However, it has recognized a potential opportunity to modernize some NGD's operation and investment to produce face shields and N95 Max. Harris believed his team was in the best position to do this. So he had to act quickly and make a decision on potential investment opportunities.
Okay, now we're going to talk about the main participants. First of all, we have the Mjd Manufacturing of Automotive Parts. It is a small business of the auto parts industry of Canada that, in comparison of the industry of the United States, is really small. It is oriented to help the community and workers. In second place, we have Emma Harris, that is the Chief Executive Officer of Mjd Manufacturing. Then we have the shareholders that all of them are part of Harris family. And in last, we have the government of Canada that in some way is incentivizing companies by giving it grants in order that they can produce PPE, that is the personal protective equipment.
Number 3, why is Harris considering investment? The first one is because it has a great potential market about PPE in the year of the 2019, and also to diversify her business portfolio, because it's very important in that case mention something about diversified products or applying scale economies. And it's very important to consider the grant support from the government, because in the case the government will bring all the companies that were dedicated or that are dedicated to the manufacturing about different types of products to start to do production about PPE. They will bring them a quantity of money like 1 million. So this is a big help to make them invest. In fact, it's because the industry of machinery experienced a negative growth during the last 5 years, declining by 5.3% per year. Also, the volatility in commodity prices and the changes in consumer spending were changing a lot because of the preferences, because of the main factors they wanted to buy. And the MJD target is 6.8% of return of actives and 10.12% of return of ROI in case of their history. And also they have a PPP was worth approximately in the market value about $60 billion in 2019. And the last one is about debt assets with 0.38 that is below an average in the general market of 0.42. So this makes that this company can invest because they have a less difficulties and less risk. Another question about number 3 is about how does the COVID-19 pandemic affect a potential investment decision? We have here 4 main factors. And the first one is because of the available information about measurement or behavior about COVID-19 is a medium risk because there is no not know enough information about that in case of the 2019, in the year of 2019. So that's why we consider this as a medium risk, because at the beginning of the pandemic, they could know about something about this disease or this virus, but they didn't know exactly what it is. So in that case, they can even do more invest because that were very short for them. The second one is uncertain future demand, and we consider as a high risk because they don't have enough projection about the quantity of demand that they will have in the future. And the third is about the timeline of a possible vaccine. This is a big high risk because according that investigations or the scientifics made in the past, they didn't know how long will be the duration of the COVID-19. So that is a big risk to make a decision of investment, or maybe if that industry will have a big duration. And the last one is about recovery of investment or capital. There will be a minimum risk, and this goes and is related to the other factors, because in case that the pandemic will finish very soon, they will have a very low recovery on investment capital. Number 4 is about what possible risk could the company have if they invest. And the first is about low return on investment. It means the ratio of ROI, because if they decide to invest a quantity of money or to finance or to have or acquire to a finance bank and a tool of a finance, the risk, like I said in the last part, is more about how long that will be the duration, because they didn't know exactly the timeline of the vaccine or of the pandemic time. And the second is about the failure to break even with capital investment and the COVID prolongation. Also the credit risk, and the company is unavailable to pay because they didn't have enough money or enough earnings. And in that case, they will be unable to pay employees, and in some case to fire people. And if there is not a productivity, prices drop. So there will be less optimistic in their investment.
In comparison to its peers, the average return on the company asset is below the average of the competition. The dividend that the company gives to shareholders is higher than the average of the competition. By having a liability to asset ratio of 0.38, the company may not be taking risks by borrowing, but making the most of its assets are the personal property.
Okay, now we're going to talk about the financial vulnerability of the investment opportunities, in this case of the face shields. As the case said, it provides us with the data of know the quantity, the price, and also the cost per unit of the face shields. With that data, we can find the sales, the cost of sales, and the operating expenses, that it will increase in 3%, 2% per year. We also think consideration to the 2% of taxes. And with that, we can find the net income, that are the cash flows in present value. So without cash flows, and also with the net investment, that is the investment by less of the entry, that in this case we consider it in the worst of the cases that the bank will provide is just $500,000. That is the less value. We can find the net present value, that in this case is positive, so it means this project is viable. And also the return rate investment, that is 11% of rentability. So this project is good for the company. Now, in the case of N95 masks, The case provides us the data to found the quantity, will be sent in retail and in e-commerce, and also the retail price and e-commerce price and the cost per unit. In this case, also the investment will be of $5 million because company needs to buy a new machine. The entry will be $1 million of government that will provide us. And so the net investment will be $4 million, more than $4 million. And in this case, also we consider the low case, that is that the sales will increase just in $500,000 per year. We also take consideration the depreciation that will be of the machine, that will be of 5% per year. And that also that at the last year the machine will be sale of the 40% of the valor neto in euros. So with that, we obtain the net income and the cash flows of present value, that with the net investment, we can find a bond that is negative, unfortunately. So this project is not viable, same as the tier that also is negative. So this project doesn't have a rentability.
For number 7, it's about how should each investment be financed. In my group, we chose about leasing because it's an interesting tool and is related more to fixed assets. So that's why Harris, or in the case of Mjd Manufacturing, needed in that time, because they wanted to buy, in this case, machinery for face shields or producing N95 masks. So in case of leasing, we have 5 characteristics of this tool, and is designed to medium-term finance the fixed assets, like I said, and also helps to the investment stage, an initial part of their investment, and also have a purchase to replace existing equipment and the acquisition of industrial machinery, and gives you a better insurance because all type of leasing has an insurance in the contract. In case of face shields, we chose about leaseback, using a leaseback because they need a total remodeling of the wiper machine that it was required. So then is when the lessee, that is Mjd Manufacturing, this company, becomes a supplier, and they bring their machine to the lessor, that it will become the bank or the entity. And another characteristic, it will be they have no longer depreciation according to NICS. It's about 10 years. And the second one is N95 mask. We chose leasing. And in this case, it doesn't have the necessary equipment for remodeling, but just for a purchase. So if we use a leasing, we purchase or we rent this machine to our production. And also at the end of the contract, they have the option to purchase the asset. This leasing is very important, and it's really beneficial because they have a big tax benefit because of the accelerated depreciation of the property acquired. So it means it has a minimum of 2 years, and in the case of the NICS, they have a minimum of 10 years. Another question is about how will the core ratios be affected. In this case, Mjd Manufacturing, it has 1.7 million in retaining earnings. They have their own process, and in this case, they will divide this money in the 2 projects, in face shields and another one that is N95 mask. They consider the ratio as maximum of ROA, like 0.45, like a top to meet it. And we calculated about the ROA of face shields. It's about 0.056. And another article is 0.077. According the ratios are below from this ratio of the maximum, so it means that they can finance the two projects.
As other financing alternatives for the company we have, reflection loan. A reflection loan could also be an excellent finance option for the company. They could repay the loan in a specific schedule of flexi payment that can be monthly, quarterly, and even semi-annually. This type of financing would allow us to acquire the machinery for the max or update the equipment they have to produce the face shield. A credit line, a business credit line could also be a financing option for the company. It can use the money on as a need basis instead of taking the resetter loan. However, the credit line tend to have higher interest rates than loan.
Okay, so for the last, the company can use the bank loan as a financial instrument. In this case, it will be a long-term financing of 3 years, taking as a reference what experts have said about the duration of the pandemic. And also, in this case, the company can make this because it has a good debt capacity because of the ratio of endeudamiento that is really low. So the company is not taking so much risk in borrowing. So this will be a good opportunity of make this borrowing and can increase their incomes with this financiation.
For conclusions, we have that in some way, a company will always incur for a risk to be able to do new projects. And however, if it is clear about the cash flows they have in their company, that the project will generate an investment through the bank or NFV, the company will be able to invest more safely. The second, we talk about the ROA, that is the return of actives. It is presented by Mjd Manufacturing is 4.392%, 3% below the average ROA of the competition. This reflects that the company's performance is good but could improve in some way. And the last one is the optimal financing tool is leasing that we chose because it has a faster depreciation, so it gives and provides a tax benefit to the company.
Now, as first recommendation, we have that it is better for the company to invest in retooling the machine so that it can manufacture face shields, since it does not have to buy a completely new machine, and this gives greater viability as a project. Likewise, the use of a leaseback is recommended as a financial method. In this way, the bank will give a rent with the option to buy in exchange for the title of the machinery, and the company will be able to use it by paying monthly installments. And also, a second recommendation, we have increasing the sales of the manufacturing company will help improve ROA. Since to value a company as profitable, its ROA must exceed 5%. Well, that is all. Thank you for your attention.